Okay, so talk about history, right? As in historically, as in there's no secret. Like, Chelsea is the dominant team against Southampton, and that's something that anyone could guess, right? But very interestingly, like you saw in that quick clip, right? As in the last time Chelsea beat Southampton was October 2019. Yes, it's going to be 2 years next week, and that's what you're talking about. And that's crazy stat, right, in itself. So we cannot take Southampton lightly at all because somehow I think Southampton has been a bogey team. Yes, we did get a couple of draws, and one of them very high scoring one. That, if you remembered, where Warner was in form for a change. But yes, hopefully he comes back in form and is deployed. But I think Southampton definitely are draw merchants. So, like, I have to say that they are like Villarreal. We spoke about in Champions League. Southampton in the Premier League, they are draw merchants, drawing a lot of games. They either draw the game or lose 9-0. Right? One of those teams who just as in you can see extremes there. But I think more recently, but yes, they've lost against Wolves. So maybe that's something that will spur them on. I don't know. They have been obviously winless in the Premier League, so that tells me that Chelsea should get over the line for sure. And talking about draws, right? I know they've not won yet, but they drew against Man United. So I have to get in Krishna. So Krishna, as a Man United fan, watching Southampton draw that, I know it was again a bit controversial, one of the goals there, but I actually went with the referee for a change there. But just as a Man United fan, and of course, watching Southampton draw also against your city rivals, Manchester City. What is your report saying? Just share your thoughts about Southampton.
I mean, yeah, initially I was a bit disheartened, but after seeing that City also, drew to them, it kind of, made the wound hurt less. But looking at specifically our match, I don't think Southampton played or does play extremely well. Their performance goes very up and down. It's again more. It was more onto us and Ollie's tactics. But if I could pin it on maybe one or two players from Southampton who are performing well, one is Livramento at right back, and the other is Salisu. He's a centre back. I think both are ex-Chelsea players. You should know about them.
Yes, Livramento is someone that there's a lot of controversy about because I think we do have a buyback, and the idea is for us to buy him back after 2 years when he kind of builds up and definitely gets that experience. But certainly all Chelsea players, even today on Twitter, to be honest, we can see only Livramento all around. So he's fantastic, and him making Kyle Walker Peters, actually being played as a left back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually quickly share. Of course, we're going to speak about Chelsea team, and that's what we are here for. But let me actually, now that we are speaking that, I'll just put up the Southampton team, which I expect to play this game. So here you go. Right, so like you said, right, again, right back is empty because the website I was using does not have Livramento. That's how quickly he has risen up just as a footballer, right? But yes, certainly I think you put it right. Salisu is a person, so they have a great defense. They draw a lot of games. That's something that we need to be wary about as a Chelsea team. Again, in this team I can see on left wing, probably Redmond starting. I know he's done well against Chelsea in the past. We saw in that clip again. But reports say that probably Redmond will not play the game because of the his underperforming, against Wolves. And and them playing a 4-4-2 on paper again. I don't want to speak about what happened day before yesterday about Juventus Chelsea, but that's how it can be again because Armstrong is someone I know he's had I think most number of shots on target I think for a Southampton player, but for sure he can play left wing as well, so he might as well tuck in. And Shea Adams is a great person on counter attack. So I can see that happening. But like I said, like we haven't really lost consecutively. I think it'll be the first time that we'll be losing thrice consecutively under Tuchel, and it's at home after all. So I expect us to do really well. I want to also share the Chelsea 11 for this that I'm expecting, and I'll get the guys' views here. But again, as an opposition view, Anway, this is what I'm going with. Against Southampton, just talking about injuries, like for Chelsea, firstly, we have obviously Reece James out, I think for a good while. Pulisic is not 100% fit from the last press conference that we heard. Mason Mount, should be back. This is the 11 that I'm expecting. I don't know, people watching, do comment below, but I'll get guys' thoughts. But talking about the injuries again, I think Kante is someone who's definitely isolating still. Hopefully he recovers well. And Chilwell to come back. as a start. I know he came in the second half against Juventus. He looked better than Alonso, put it that way. Ziyech, I know a lot of criticism for him. I don't think he deserves that much criticism because after all, he's at least coming after an injury. And compared to Havertz, I think he's slightly better in terms of trying. He'll stay. Mount hopefully will come back. He's been selected for England, surprisingly, for the international break. So that's interesting. But Loftus-Cheek needs to come back. He needs to start. He's been absolutely fantastic. Anway, what are your thoughts on this team? You think this team should be good enough? Hudson-Odoi works at wing back for you or no, as an opposition fan?
So I think Hudson-Odoi works very well, but I'm extremely happy to see Ziyech here because if you saw his pre-season performance as well, right, he was on fire. But unfortunately, he had an injury. But I hope he gets back in form because he can be an absolutely lethal attacker, and that's something that Southampton need to be careful about.
Absolutely. And we spoke about so much about Champions League, right? As in Champions League, we lost and we hadn't lost last year at all, right away. So for me, that juju's over. So hopefully, we have to go all out attack and just, look at winning, especially at home. And, that's what I'm going for. Again, I don't know what, you all think, but certainly I see a close game because of Southampton's, just the defensive capability. And we spoke about the players that we did. Again, talking about some players about Southampton who might be missing. I think Walcott is not probably 100% fit. I don't know if he's going to be fit by the time the match kicks off. And I think Stuart Armstrong also is in the same boat. Of course, the Chelsea loanee, Armando Broja is not eligible, so he'll not be playing. He anyway wouldn't have started, but he probably would have come on otherwise, right? I think Jack Stephens is someone that they'll miss at the back because he has been great for Southampton. But certainly, as in James Ward-Prowse, that's someone that I think is great in set pieces, so something that we have to be careful about. But spoke a lot about Southampton, Chelsea there. People in the chat also get in the predictions because we are moving to the prediction stage here. What do you think? I'll probably come to Krishna. Firstly, we'll start with this game itself. Chelsea-Southampton. What is your scoreline prediction?
It's a 2-0 win to Chelsea. I think Lukaku is going to score a brace. It might be a bias because he is going to be my FPL captain for the weekend also.
Absolutely, and that's a great choice, I tell you. So Lukaku is actually, for him, he's had, I think, the best stat against Southampton among all the clubs, right? So I think he scored about 9 goals. Also, I think he scored a lot against West Ham and Villa, but I think Southampton is the highest. So that's something that he'll have in the back of his mind. He's done well over the years against Southampton. But on the other hand, before Anway gets to his prediction, I would like to say Southampton, I think, have got the highest number of points away at Chelsea. As in, other than just 2 other away games, away sides, I think that's probably the third that they've secured the most points away at Stamford Bridge. So something's got to give, right? As in, Anway, what's your call? I don't want to be jinxing it, but just asking your predictions.
So like Krishna said, I think Lukaku will be a threat, but at the same time, when you spoke about Ward-Prowse being on set pieces, I hate to take it from 10, but I think Ward-Prowse is the best set piece taker in the Premier League. If you look at his last season stats as well. So I think Chelsea might concede 1, but I think it should be a 2-1 win to Chelsea.
Interesting. I'll take that. That's what I'll say. As in, again, I would like to predict as well. I can actually, echo what Anway just said, a 2-1 win to Chelsea because, yes, we are conceding more lately. So that's something that, again, it's a negative momentum. But at the same time, we need to play more attack-minded players and just, being in that mindset. And hopefully those 2 losses, must have taught us a lesson. And the race is on. At the end of the day, we are not far behind. I think, again, Anway and Krishna would agree that I know technically Liverpool is on top, but it's still very early days and still very close, right? We cannot really say. And these 1 or 2 points that you drop, at Southampton, that ManUtd dropped, ManCity dropped, something that Chelsea can probably take advantage of and prove that we can probably beat the so-called mid-table or lower side teams. But it'll be an interesting game for sure.